Welcome to Garden House Studio. In today's video, we are going to be stamping several different items that we can use for gifts for Valentine's. We are using IOD stamps and IOD ink. Our first project is a pillow. We got this thrifted pillow and we are just using the insert. It is a down-filled pillow. It is 11 inches by 20 inches. So it's the perfect size for a lumbar pillow. We take the insides out and I can discard the cover. The cover was super heavy and it protected the down insert perfectly. So now we're ready to stamp. I cut my fabric 21 by 12 so that I would have a half an inch all around for sewing it up. And I'm using the sprig stamp from IOD to do my design. I used all but I think one of the stamps that come in that set to do my layout and my stamping. You can see my stamps have been used a lot. I am going to be using the tomato ink, which is a nice bright red. And because our fabric is simply a white sheet, which I actually just tore into the size I wanted, it will come out nice and bright on the white. Most of the stamps in the sprig stamp set are very tall and skinny, and you have to be really careful that you do not get the ink in the margins because it's very easy to push down too hard on those stamps when they're that thin. All of the designs in this roundup are kind of what I would call faux red work. It's a type of embroidery that was pretty popular in the really early 1900s, late 1800s, where they used just red embroidery thread on white backgrounds and created really beautiful embroidery, mostly things that would have been used, household items and really simple kitchen towels and things like that that would have been very utilitarian. To make the strips that I used to stamp the words on, I ripped the same sheeting that I used for the pillow front to about an inch and a half inches wide. And before I sewed it down to the pillow front, I actually zigzagged the edges, rolled them under so that they were no longer raveling. I cut a long piece of the thin mount, 1.5 inches wide, and I use that to put my words on. I would use as many letters as I had and then go back and stamp in the ones that I didn't have a duplicate of. You can fold your pillow as you're pushing it into the corners and really make sure that you get the pillow pushed into the corners so that you have a nice evenly filled pillow. And then you can go and you sew the bottom up and you are done. The second project in this series are some little muslin gift bags. I got these gift bags at Michael's. They're about 5 by 7. They are perfect for stuffing with little bits of candy or little gifts. And they are all cotton and super easily stamped, and they take the ink perfectly. I put a piece of cardboard inside the little gift bag so that the ink doesn't bleed through to the inside or and then come through to the front, because when you are stamping on fabric, you really do need to load up your your stamp with quite a bit of ink so that it really penetrates to the fabric. Stamp set that I used for the little gift bags is La Campagne, and it has two sets of 2 pages of stamps, animals, roosters, and also beautiful flowers. And then what we use for the script is the letterpress stamp set. You'll notice that I wipe away any excess ink that gets on the stamp or even on the thin mount with a baby wipe, just to make sure that I do not have ink where I don't want it on my fabric. The letterpress stamp set has 4 different fonts, so we mixed it up a little bit and used uh, the tall and skinny one on one of our bags, and we're able to get a little bit extra hugs and kisses in there. Our next project is our pincushion heart, and the red fabric is a wool blended felt, and the white fabric is again the same white sheet that I just cut a heart out of. Googled heart shapes and got the like a 5-inch heart off of the internet, and the stamp I'm using for the center of my heart came from the Birds and Bees stamp. It is a really cute little bird sitting on a branch that fits perfectly in this 5-inch heart. Because I want to add a little texture to the background, I am using one of the masks, the mask that came with the Birds and Bees stamp, and I simply mask over the bird design, and then I go right ahead and stamp right over it, and you will see it makes it look like it is in the background, and the bird is in the foreground. The pincushion consists of 3 pieces, 2 red hearts and 1 heart that I made out of sheeting that was stamped. Now you have to cut the overlay. I cut it so that my overlay was about an inch wide, and I'm doing it without measuring because I have a pretty good eye, but you may want to measure, and so that you have your overlay is exactly the same distance all around. To put it all together, you put the overlay over the white stamped heart, and I take a really tiny stitch all around the inner part of the heart to attach the white stamped piece to the overlay. Just using embroidery floss, red embroidery floss. I really did it red on red. So you're not going to be able to see my stitches, but it's just tiny little back stitches all around the inner edge of the heart. I added a little hook to the top just to give it a little interest. And the final stitching is a blanket stitch all around the whole outside, leaving just enough room for stuffing on one of the edges. Our final project is a stamped market bag that we also use La Campagne stamp for. And we also used the letterpress stamp for the lettering. I love the details on this rooster, and he is the perfect accompaniment for our market bag. All the details just make him so realistic and fun.